Welcome to day 2 of Tier List Week. This is something that you guys voted on as a community about whether or not you wanted. Basically, from April 1st to April 7th, I will be doing a tier list every single day so that we can try to cover all of our bases. The first 3 days are the obvious ones: killer powers, survivor perks, and then killer perks. And then the next 4, I'm going to take all the suggestions from a community post, put it in a big Google wheel, spin the motherfucker, and then we're just going to do whatever it lands on. So, that being said, the last time I did this, I was far less experienced at the game, probably by a little over 400 or 500 hours less experienced than I am now. I also had to refer to the wiki a lot. And I also think that I was kind of just not fair to some of the perks. But yeah, we're going to hop into this. I'm still got the wiki open because I just don't think it's possible for anyone to remember every single perk and exactly what it does. But I'll also try not to talk your guys' ear off for 2 straight hours this time. So let's hop right in. First off, we got Ace in the Hole from Ace, obviously. Whenever you open up a chest and you go to grab an item from it, that item will always have add-ons. So there is a 100% chance for a very rare or lower add-on to be on there, and then you have up to a 50% chance at max value to get an uncommon or lower add-on. One of the problems I have with this perk is that nobody really uses chests. If you want items, just bring items into the trial. It's not really worth it. I only ever put this perk on whenever I am forced to do chest by the archives. And it's just something to kind of help with that. Realistically, I'm going to put it in the D tier because it's just if you want an item with certain add-ons, you just bring the fucking item with certain add-ons. I think if chests had a little bit more to them, then this would be useful. If you're a scavenger, I used to play in this really fun style where I would collect items from trials. So I wouldn't bring items with me. I would always get my items out of a chest. So if you're like that, then this is really fun to bring with you. But realistically speaking, it's just not that great. Next up, we have Adrenaline, arguably the best survivor perk in the game. It's going to be getting changed soon, and I really hope it's not a nerf, because it doesn't need a nerf. No, I don't care. Being healed off the hook is fine. Getting both the healing and the haste is fine. Waking you up against Freddy is fine. Yeah, it sucks because Freddy's already dog shit, but do you honestly think that changing that is going to make any sort of a difference? No, it won't. Adrenaline's just arguably, like I said, the best survivor perk in the game, and I think it's fine staying that way, to be honest with you. You made it through the entire trial. You helped your team finish all the gens. You deserve that fucking adrenaline, bro. This is a powerful effect that is earned 100% of the time, and I think it's perfectly fine where it is. Next up, we have Aftercare. This is a Jeff Johansson perk. I'm not the biggest fan of Aftercare. It's an information perk that's given to you after you unhook a survivor. They unhook you, you heal them, or they heal you. And it's of the last 1, 2, or 3 survivors. I just don't think that it's like fully worth it. It's the fact that you have to do things to get it. You might as well run Bond or Empathy. Like, I get this is map wide, but I just don't think that the work you put in is worth it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go ahead and put Aftercare in C, only because it's an info perk, and it's very difficult to go wrong with info perks. Next up, we have Alert. Whenever the killer does a break action of any kind, their aura is revealed to you for 3, 4, or 5 seconds. This is actually a halfway decent chase perk. I think it's kind of underrated. I'm going to put it in B because like especially if you combine this with Gabriel's perk Troubleshooter, you know, you're being chased, you drop the pallet and then you run around the corner. If the killer kicks the pallet, they break it. You're like, oh, I see your aura. You know what I mean? Like, you get like extreme aura reading on them. And I think that's actually a lot better than a lot of people realize. This also helps for if the killer is coming to a gen you're working on. You know, you put the thing on, you're working on the gen, they're coming over, you get up off the gen, you see them kick it, and then you get aura reading on them to know where to go to avoid them, you know, finding you. So I actually think this perk is fairly underrated. Not gonna lie to you. Next up is Any Means Necessary, the meme perk of all meme perks. You see the ability of all the auras of all pallets that are dropped, and you can pick pallets back up to use them again. This is just, it's not a good perk. You would think that you'd be able to, like, oh yeah, dude, like, I can go, you know, I dropped the pallet, the killer didn't break it, I lost them, so I can go back and reset and we'll have that pallet for later. it's just not worth wasting the time. It's definitely cool that it got a buff to remove its cooldown, which I always thought was really, really good, but it's still not strong enough to matter. So you bring this if you're trying to fuck around or do an archive, like nothing else. Next up is Appraisal. This allows you to rummage through chests after they've been opened to get an additional item out of chest. Very similar to Ace in the Hole. You only really bring this if you're doing some sort of chest archive. Nobody uses chests. They just use the items that they can bring with them. I wonder if I should do a video on how I would change chest, because I have a couple of ideas. Let me know in the comments if you guys want to see that. But I think I'll go ahead and throw Appraisal into, it'll go above any means. It's still useful if you're using chests, but chests aren't useful to begin with, and so that's why it's sitting at the D tier. Next up is Autodidact. This has its place in literally every super healing build. It comes to us from Adam. You don't have great skill checks, and you have a 25% penalty to succeeding a good skill check. So basically what it does is every time you succeed a good skill check, you get up to 5 tokens, and then each of them grants 15% for succeeding on a... So you can get up to, let's see, 15, 30, 30, and 30 is 60. That's 75% of the healing progress done once you max it out. This pairs really well with Hyper Focus, Deadline, all of those. So this is just a really good perk for healing builds. On its own, I'm not a big fan of it. I don't think it's got a lot of power on its own, but because it synergizes so well with so many other perks, I think I'm going to put it in the C tier. This is something that I did last time where I was like, oh, if the perk has to synergize, then I'll weaken its power. I'm going to take in both the power of the perk by itself and its synergies in order to rank its power. Because I think the reason being is I think that's incredibly important. Because you're never just running a perk alone, right? You're never just running one perk unless you're doing that achievement. You know what I mean? So I think it's important to keep synergies in mind when we're talking about power level of perks. Next up is Babysitter. This is an altruistic anti-tunnel perk. Whenever you unhook a survivor, the killer's aura is revealed to you for 8 seconds. And for the following 4, 6, and 8 seconds, the survivor doesn't have scratch marks or pools of blood, and they increase their haste by 7%, meaning they get a 12% haste, which means that full sprint off the hook, they are faster than 1/10. They're faster than 4.4 killers, which is really fucking good. They're almost as fast as 115 killers. So if you want to like 100% make sure your people get safely unhooked, you combine this with Borrowed Time. I actually think that this kind of might be slept on. I think in terms of altruistic perks, this might be slept on as one of the best anti-tunnel perks in the game. So yeah, I think we put it in B for sure. Next up, we have Background Player. I hate this fucking perk so much. Background Player is a Renato perk, and whenever a survivor gets picked up, you get a 200% speed boost for 5 seconds. For the like, what? So basically, a survivor gets picked up, and you can run in from across the fucking map, and flashlight save, pallet save. I really like putting this perk in with flashbang and doing drive-by flashbang saves. It's so fucking stupid, especially from an outside perspective, because you just see fucking Sonic the Hedgehog go meow, bink, meow, and then poof, and the killer drops you. But its altruistic potential is just so fucking strong, man. I don't know why they gave this 200%. It was fine at 150, but you know, whatever, bro. Next up, we've got Balance Landing. It's hard to put exhaustion perks at anything below A. I think there'll be like 2 exhaustion perks that end up in B, just because exhaustion perks generally give you a lot of advantages. When it comes to exhaustion perks, Balance Landing is one of those that isn't at the top of the exhaustion perk list. It's kind of in the middle, because it does require you to fall from a height. Now, the height doesn't have to be big. you know, basement, the entrance to basement, you can fall off the ledge and hit the stairs and get your balance proc. But because it's an exhaustion perk, because you get this massive speed boost from, you know, from being able to fall, and you don't stagger, well, you do, you stagger by 75%, but it's not as much. It's just an all around good perk. It's an all around good perk that I really think, you can use if you don't want to use sprint, burst, or life. Next up is better than new, which is a Rebecca perk. Let's see here. What does this one do? Increases the action speeds and healing, unlocking, cleansing. Oh, okay, so whenever you heal another survivor, their healing, unlocking, cleansing, and blessing speeds are increased. I'd say top of D. Also, this can go away. I don't know why this is here. I just noticed that there was an E tier this whole time. So I think top of D works fine. The reason I don't want to put it higher is because while the healing speed it gives is kind of cool, like maybe you could run this with Will Make It and Desperate Measures and quickly heal up the person that you pulled off the hook, and then they turn around and heal you at increased speeds. That's pretty good, but like I don't think it's consistent enough. You know, and if they got like increased to like vaulting speeds in that, then I could probably put it in like C, because then they would like, you know, you unhook, you heal somebody, and then the killer's like do, and they're like shit, and they run, and then they, you know, they get increased to vaulting speeds. That'd be kind of cool. But I don't know about like, okay, they can unlock chest, cleanse, and bless faster. Who gives a fuck? Next up is Better Together. This used to be called Situational Awareness. This is another perk I think is low-key slept on. I think I'm going to put it up in the beats here. Whenever you're working on a generator, all survivors within 32 meters see the generator you're working on. So this is really good to pair with things like Prove Thyself. So you can be like, hey, I'm over here. Come help me. And they can come over and help you out. And then whenever the killer downs a survivor while you're repairing a generator, you see the killer's aura for 8, 9, 10 seconds. That part's not as useful. I guess it's useful for knowing if the killer's starting to come towards your generator, but realistically speaking, the aura reading isn't as important as letting other survivors know where you are. Honestly, probably one of the better solo queue perks, if we're being real with ourselves here. It's probably one of the better solo queue perks for sure. Next up, we have Bite the Bullet from Leon. This is a perk that whenever you fail a skill check, you don't trigger a loud noise notification, and your regression penalties are reduced by 3, 2, 1, and you're also silent while healing others or healing yourself. So everybody's quiet, and while you're doing the heal, you just heal other people better. I think that the reason this perk doesn't see a lot of use is because healing builds generally go for speed over safety. So I'm going to put this in C tier above Aftercare because it is a good altruistic healing perk, but it is not something that I personally believe you would use incredibly often. So yeah, that's how that is. Next up, we have Blast Mine. Blast Mine's a meme perk. In terms of overall strength, it's just not that good. You trap a generator, the killer kicks the generator, they're blinded and stunned, they gotta re-kick the generator. It's not like it wastes a lot of time. You can sometimes be really cheeky and like 99 a generator and then put the trap on and then hide nearby. The killer goes to kick the generator because it's 99, and while they're stunned, you walk in and you finish it. But that doesn't happen often enough to matter. I'm honestly gonna put it below any means. If only because it's funnier than any means. I'll be real with you. Next up is Blood Pact. This is another one of those perks that I've always been kind of confused at. So basically, when either you or the Obsession become injured, the perk activates. The auras are constantly revealed to one another. So you always see the Obsession sees you while one of you are injured. When you heal the Obsession or they heal you, both of you get 7% haste. And then, but the effect only lasts if you're within 16 meters of each other. And that's a very, very big limiter that I'm not entirely happy about. So I think that the limiter is what keeps this from being used so much. Like if you were able to unhook somebody, unhook the obsession, and then heal them up, and then the obsession runs one way, you run the other way, confusing the killer, it would be really good. Oh, that's why it's only within 16 meters. It's because there's no timer. It deactivates when you leave the radius. I would replace the radius with a timer for like the next 5, 10, 15 seconds or something like that. Nah, that's too much. The next 5, 7, 10 seconds or something like that. That's how I would do it. I don't really like the radius. I think we're going to put Soul Guard down here. It's just not really, I get it. It's also limited to the obsession. Yeah, we're going to put it in D. I don't really like it. Blood Pact. Blood Rush. This is the one that allows you to become recovered when you're exhausted. But you have to be on death hook and healthy, and you instantly recover from the exhausted and become broken. There's too many limiters on this, man. I remember a lot of people thought this was going to be like the bee's knees. Like you'd be able to like sprint burst, recover from exhaustion, sprint burst again at the end game, but it's just not, dude. I'm so close to putting this in F tier. I just think there's way too many restrictions. I just think there's way too many restrictions on it. Who uses this? Do you use this? No, you don't. We can't put it below meme status. I don't think it's that bad, but it's certainly not good enough to use. Next up is Boil Over. Pretty solid perk. Whenever the killer picks you up, the struggle moves them even more by up to 80%. Hooks within 16 meters, the killer can't see them, and whenever the killer drops from a height, 33% of your current wiggle progression you get 33% of it. This is a perk that's just incredibly frustrating to go against in general, like no matter what. But it also has its place in top rope builds, what I like to call top rope builds. That's when you go to Area of Cox, Ormond, the top of Blood Lodge even, and you get downed on purpose up there, and it basically makes it to where the killer can never hook you. This perk is also really obnoxious on indoor maps. It makes it harder for the killer to get through doorways. It could cause the killer to walk further than they need to for a hook state. Fuck this perk. It's actually really strong. I don't think it's stronger than, altruism and information, but it is strong. Next up is Bond. Arguably one of the greatest info perks for survivors in the game. Bond is a perk that allows you to see all survivors within 36 meters of you, and it's very useful. You know where your fellow survivors are, you know what they're doing, because of the HUD now, especially. I think the survivor HUD really boosted this perk's power because Meg's getting chased. Where is Meg? So you look around, you're like, oh, she's over there. That's where she's getting chased. You can use this to be like, okay, I can go in for the save, or I know to avoid it. Oh, Meg's running this way with the killer. Let me get up. It's just one of the best info perks in the game. It's honestly, if you're in solo queue, I would say this is one of your must-haves, to be real with you. I don't personally run it because I'm a masochist, but yeah. Next up, we're going to be going over Boon perks. All Boon perks suffer from the same weakness in that they take fucking... Where is it? It does not tell me how long it takes to bless a Boon. It doesn't tell me. It takes a stupid long time. So, they all take a long time. They require you to find a totem, and they have a very limited range, but that does not mean that they cannot be strong. Boon Circle of Healing, while it is dropped from its B tier or its A tier status, is still very strong. It's one of the best altruistic perks in the game. Whenever somebody ends up inside the Boon's radius and injured, all the other survivors see them, so they know to go over and give them a quick back scratch. You heal at 100% speed, which is 8 seconds, which is really, really fast. If you combine this with Will Make It, it goes down to like 4 seconds, which is insane. So yeah, this is a very good perk, very good altruistic perk. It just suffers from being a boon. That's why it can't be much higher. Back in the day, it was an easy S tier perk because you could heal yourself within it. So yeah. Next up is Dark Theory. Dark Theory is a C tier perk. I don't think Dark Theory is as big of a joke as it used to be, but it's still just 2% haste while very good. Only in a limited 24 meter radius. This is one of those perks where you have to be in something like Mid-Bitch or Gideon so it could get multiple floors to get a lot of use out of. I just don't think it is as good as it could be. Boon Exponential is definitely above Dark Theory. You can get every survivor gets unbreakable within the radius. So what that basically means is you can pick yourself up. It's a great anti-slugging boon. I have found that this boon is best placed near exit gates, if you can, because it allows for some cheeky in-game stuff. But unless you're just running into slugging all the time, I just don't think that, like excessive slugging all the time, I don't think it's great. The boon elimination. This is a pretty bad one. This is a pretty bad boon. While in the aura of the boon, all chests and generators are revealed to the survivor in blue. And then while it is lit, the person who lit it gets increased speeds to blessing and cleansing. Which doesn't make any fucking sense because you already have the boon lit. I guess if you wanted to move it, but I'm sorry, it's just so bad, man. It's just not good enough. Next up is Shadow Step. Probably the second best boon for sure. I'm going to put it bottom of B tier actually. Being able to hide your scratch marks and pools of blood and aura from the killer while in the range, and then it lingers out for 4 seconds after you leave is just really good. It's effective to help with mind gaming. It's a lot better than I used to think. So yeah, we'll definitely keep it bottom of B. Moving on. Borrowed Time, one of the best altruistic perks in the game. We're going to put it right... Actually, we're going to put it right below Babysitter. I think Babysitter's better, but this is a really good altruistic anti-tunneling perk. Whenever you unhook a survivor, their endurance increases by their endurance timer increases by 6, 8, or 10 seconds, and then extends the duration of their haste for another 10 seconds. So, actually, I think combined with Babysitter, I think this actually means that they would be... they would get 12% haste for 20 seconds, which is kind of evil. Botany Knowledge is another staple along with Autodidact in healing builds, but it is one of those that only synergizes with healing builds. So I'm going to put it above Autodidact because it's arguably the better synergy within healing builds. I'm actually going to put Aftercare below these two, and Bite the Bullet. Yeah, I think this is a lot better. Do I put these above? I put these above Dark Theory, I think. Yeah. This is better. It's just one of those perks. Like I said, it has to be with other perks to be effective. Yeah, theoretically you could run it by yourself and get 50% healing speed, but why would you? You know what I mean? It's just better. Instead of healing them in 16 seconds, you heal them in what? 12 seconds? Yeah, you heal them in 12 seconds or something like that, which is better, but it's still, you're just not going to use it without dedicating a full heal build to it. Next up is Breakdown from Jeff. The perk's not very good, but it's not very bad either. I would honestly put it in the middle of C tier. It's probably where it's going to stay. It's one of those perks that kind of prevents... It doesn't prevent tunneling, but it makes it easier to prevent tunneling. Whenever you get unhooked, whenever you get unhooked, the killer's aura is revealed to you for 4, 5, or 6 seconds. But then the hook that you were hooked on is broken for fucking 2.5. No. Yeah. It's broken for almost 3 minutes. It's 180 seconds. 120 is 2 minutes. Yeah, it's broken for almost 3 minutes. So that's just a hook that's just gone. It's just gone. There's nothing that the killer can do about it. They can't use that hook. If it's a hook that's kind of like well placed, it makes it even more difficult for the killer. If you bring like oak branch with this, it's scary. The only reason it's not above the only reason it's C tier is because even though it's scary, it's still not very good. It requires you to be hooked, which means that you're already like giving the killer pressure before getting this off. And if it's in one of those maps where hooks tend to just spawn 2 feet away from each other, it doesn't really matter that much. Next, we have Breakout. Breakout is, honestly, Breakout's not a bad perk. Breakout is one of those perks that, it's from Yui, and it's, you get haste while you're within 5 meters of a carried survivor, and it increases the wiggle speed of the carried survivor by 25%. So this is an altruistic perk that can help you with saves. Background player is obviously the better choice, but I think Breakout actually goes up in the B tier, kind of slept on, to be real with you. It's a very good altruism perk. I'd probably put it above Boil Over, but below situational awareness or better together, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So yeah. Next up, we've got Buckle Up. By itself, Buckle Up is not that great. Whenever you pick up a survivor from the dying state, the aura of the killer is revealed to both of you. And then completing an action... Oh, sorry, hold on. Yeah, when healing a survivor in the dying state, the aura of the killer is revealed to both of you. But when completing the healing action, both of you gain endurance for 6, 8, 10 seconds. This is currently the boogeyman of killer players along with For the People. It's part of a very powerful combo. I think what stops it from being super strong is the fact that it needs to be combined with For the People, but its effect by itself isn't necessarily bad. So that's why it's going to go up here in the B tier. Next up, we've got Built to Last from Felix. I only ever use this perk if I am doing one of the challenges that says deplete X item blank times, because you can get up to, let me see here, 99%, 30 or 66%, 33%, 1%. Yeah, you can get up to 5 depletions with this perk. As far as its strength, below Dark Theory. It seems great. It seems great to be able to use an item over and over again. But there's not really a lot of times where where you want to spend how long in lockers? 12 seconds in a locker just to get that off. 12 seconds is a lot of time wasted where you could just be putting that into something else. I understand if like you're addicted to something like medkits or something like that, then yeah, run Built to Last. But in terms of general strength, I don't think it's that great. Next up, we got Calm Spirit. Calm Spirit has seen a lot of use ever since the killer perk Ultimate Weapon, the arguably best info perk for killers in the game, came out. It's the direct counter to Ultimate Weapon. Fun fact, it's also a direct counter to Doctor. Because it has its place in the meta right now by countering Ultimate Weapon, I'm tempted to put it in B. But the second that Ultimate Weapon gets nerfed, if it does, I don't think this perk is going to get much use. So I'm actually going to put this at the top of C, barely going into B. It also has, for some reason, it makes it to where you like don't make noise when opening chests or cleansing totems, but you cleanse them slower, which is stupid. I don't know why that's there. That shouldn't be there. Next up is Camaraderie. This used to be called Kinship. This is from Steve. And if you are hooked and you enter the second phase, it activates. Whenever a survivor comes within 16 meters of you, it pauses for 26, 30, or 34 seconds. It is basically a reassurance for you and only you that is only ever useful in your second hook state. I think it's bad enough to put below D. Maybe. No, we'll put it up here. I think it's still a bad perk though. Like its uses are so limited. If you find yourself being quote unquote face camped a lot, then sure. But how often is this going to save you is my question. You know what I mean? Like I would rather just run reassurance or hope my teammates have reassurance, to be honest with you. Next up is Champion of Light. I spoke a lot about this in my comeback video. None of Alan's perks are really that great, in my opinion. So whenever you are shining a flashlight, you get a 50% haste status effect, which I don't think you're slowed down when you're running flashlight, so you technically move at 150 while shining one. And then when you successfully blind the killer, they're 20% hindered for 6 seconds, and then it's got a long ass cooldown of 1 minute. This is a perk that is made to blind the killer mid-chase. You're supposed to flip around mid-chase and blind the killer, because if you blind them at a pallet, by the time they break the pallet, you basically have no more hindered left, and the haste effect doesn't help you as much if you're not actively moving. So this is a perk that's made to try to blind the killer mid-chase, and that's very reliant on the killer just not being smart. So honestly, I don't think it's worse than Boon elimination, but it's not that good. Next up is Chemical Trap from Ellen. This is another meme perk on the same length as on the same wavelength as Blast Mine. Trap a pallet. It stays trapped for up to 120 seconds. Killer breaks the pallet, and they are not hindered. Interestingly enough, they are slowed by 50% for 4 seconds. It doesn't specifically state hindered, but it's basically hinder. It's not strong because it relies on the killers kicking the pallet. Just like Blast Mine isn't strong because it relies on the killers kicking the gin. You know what I mean? So that's why it's down here. Next up is Clairvoyance. Actually, a fairly slept on info perk. I'm going to put it in B, actually. Whenever you cleanse a totem or bless a totem and you don't have anything in your hands, you can hold your right click to see the auras of exit gate switches, generators, hooks, chests, and the hatch within 64 meters for 10 seconds. And that 10 seconds is on a resource meter. So you can tap it and feather the button and get more use out of it. So I think this is actually a pretty underrated information perk. I think it's actually pretty good. Next up is Corrective Action from Jonah. This is a perk I actually run whenever the game requires me to perform cooperative actions. I'll run this with Better Together and Prove Thyself. You get a token every time you do a great skill check, up to 5 tokens, and you start the trial with 3. And every time a survivor cooperating with you fails a skill check, it consumes a token and turns their failed skill check into a good skill check. It doesn't stop the noise happening, but it does stop all of those teammates who can't seem to stop fucking up Merciless Storm. So, I actually am going to put it at the bottom of C. I think the synergies that it has with things like Better Together and Prove Thyself are just, it's very, very decent in my opinion. Next up, we have Counter Force from Jill. Whenever you cleanse a totem, first off, you cleanse totems 20% faster. But whenever you cleanse a totem, you gain another bonus, another 20%. And then, after you cleanse the totem, the aura of the totem furthest from you is revealed for up to 4 seconds. This is a perk that I run when I have to do totem cleansing quest. In terms of strength, while it has a lot of actually decent synergies, the problem with it is that the aura reveal on the furthest totem is too short. I think that the stackable tiers should instead go to how fast you cleanse totems, and you should see the furthest totem from you for like a flat 10 seconds. I think that would be a lot better, but for now, we're going to put it in D tier along with the meme perks. Next up, we have Cut Loose, a Thalita perk, or as I like to call it, the worst quick and quiet. So, after you perform a rushed action in a chase, you have to be in a chase, by the way. The perk activates for the next 4, 5, or 6 seconds. So, and then every time you perform a rush action within those 4, 5, or 6 seconds, it resets the timer, and you make no noise, and you suppress all effects, all sound effects. I just don't think this is good. It's a worse quick and quiet. It also has a lengthy cooldown of 45 seconds, by the way. But it's a worse quick and quiet because you're never going to be in a situation where you're just constantly volting things within 6 seconds of each other. The most use you will get out of this is 2 volts, and I just don't think that's enough. But I still believe it can go here in the C tier, probably below Dark Theory for sure. It's just not good enough. Just run quick and quiet. Like, Dance With Me synergizes extremely well with Quick and Quiet. Whenever you whenever you do a rush vault or you leave a locker in a rush, you don't leave any scratch marks for 3 seconds, and it's got a cooldown of up to 40. The cooldown is kind of long, and 3 seconds also isn't that long. I think if it was 5 seconds with a cooldown of, say, 30 seconds, it would be in a lot better spot, but because it has good synergies, I can definitely put it in the C tier, and it's also not a bad chase perk, so I think I'll go ahead and I'll put it up here, right below Autodidact. Dark Sense. Now, when I was doing the achievement hunting way back in the day, there's an achievement for escaping 8 times with 3 perks, with 2 perks, and with 1 perk. And Dark Sense was in the rotation of the 3 perks. I ran that with Kindred and Deja Vu. And it's actually low-key kind of good. Whenever a generator is completed, the aura of the killer is revealed to you for up to 10 seconds as soon as they come within 24 meters of you. So this helps you. If you're in mid-chase when a generator gets completed, aura reading on the killer is only useful, or only significantly useful, I should say, whenever you are in chase. Every other time, it is merely a small amount of information that you can't do much with. But in chase, it's good. I'm going to put this at the bottom of the B tier because I think that a lot of people just don't realize its power. Dead Hard is still a fucking stupid strong perk. Even though you can only use it up to 2 times a match because it only activates once you've been hooked, it is still strong. It still gets value. It still gets you a lot of distance. It's still just one of the best perks in the game. They did not kill it. They merely brought it out of S tier. Next up is Deadline. While you're injured, you increase the odds of triggering a skill check by up to 10% while you're repairing or healing. Now, I said in my comeback video that this is the best of Alan's perks. Oh, you also reduce the penalty by 50% for missing a skill check. I didn't know that. That's actually really good. The only problem I have is that this only works when you're injured. And for some reason, skill checks appear in random places. I don't know what that's about, but I'd still honestly really rather... I think this might go in B. Yeah, I think this could go in B. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's just it's really good with hyper focus. It's really good in healing builds. It's really good. In general, it's just really good. More skill checks with more skill checks is always a good thing because skill checks help you finish things faster. So yeah. Next up is Deception. This is another meme perk, but it's not as memey as other meme perks. Whenever you're running by a locker, you can click the interact key and the locker will spring open. It'll make a loud noise notification. Your scratch marks and pools of blood disappear for 3 seconds. So it's really good. Like if you're rounding a corner, you pop it onto a locker where the killer can't see you, maybe vault a window or something like that. And then you're gone. And the killer's like, oh wait, where'd they go? It doesn't work most of the time, but I still like it. So we're going to go ahead and, where do I'm going to put it in? I want to put it in B. I think I'm going to put it below Dark Sense for sure. Next up, Decisive Strike, one of the strongest perks in the game. I know, I believe it should be 5 seconds too, guys, but let's not pretend for even a fraction of a second that being able to, like, deny the killer picking you up isn't one of the strongest effects in the game. I'm honestly very tempted to put it in S tier. I'm very tempted to put it in S tier. I think what keeps it below Exhaustion perks and out of S tier especially is that if the killer doesn't tunnel, then it doesn't get any use. But it's arguably one of the best anti-tunnel perks in the game. Next up is Deja Vu. See the aura of the closest 3 generators and then get 6% increase speed to 6% increased Speed to repairing them. Very, very good perk. It's A tier. Honestly, I don't think that, I don't know who would argue with it. I think it's not, I don't think it's like top of the A tier, but it's very, very close. Very close. Next up is Deliverance, a hands down S tier perk. After you unhook somebody, this is my favorite survivor perk, by the way. After you unhook somebody safely, it activates. Then when you are hooked for your first hook, you get a 100% chance to unhook yourself for free, and then you're broken for 180, 60 seconds. It's basically nice pressure killer, go fuck yourself. And you unhook yourself. I like to say fuck you unhooks your survivor. And it basically saves a lot of time and a lot of energy and stuff like that. Next up is Desperate Measures. This is unironically an A tier perk. Hear me out. Healing and unhooking people is increased by 10, 12, and 14% for each injured, hooked, or dying survivor in the match. So if you're fucking playing against Legion, you unhook at light speed. You run over, you go, get off the hook, and you fucking take off, bro. You're playing against Plague, you unhook at light speed. You're playing against old Wraith. I guess Wraith doesn't really hit and run anymore, but you're playing against Wraith or Ghosty who like to do hit and run strategies. Unhook, heal at the fucking speed of light, bro. Toom! You combine this shit with Will Make It, and you heal so fast, dude. So fast, bro. I think one time I healed somebody in like 4 seconds using this botany knowledge and Will Make It. It's so fucking strong. It's so fucking strong. And honestly, I think it might be the most slept on perk in the fucking game. Desperate Measures is so good. Next up is Detective's Hunch. Pretty decent info perk, actually. Whenever a generator is completed, you see the auras of generators, chests, and totems within 64 meters. 64! That's over half of, like, every map for 10 seconds. Really good. Really, really good info perk. I'm going to put it in B. I think I'll put it, above Clairvoyance. Really, really good info perk. Like I said yesterday, I don't want anybody to get confused. Anything that's in the B tier isn't weak. It's just everything in the B tier is always missing something, just a small something that stops them from being A. But if you see something in the B tier, it's a really good perk. Distortion, one of the strongest perks in the game, denies every single aura reading perk, aura reading add-on. There's no aura reading powers as far as I know. And it also, I don't know if you guys know this, but it also suppresses scratch marks for 10 seconds after your aura is tried to be read. So you can, you're so stealthy with this. And what's really stupid is, so every 30 seconds you gain another token, because you start with 3 and then you consume 1. But what's really dumb is if you're on the hook, you gain tokens. You don't gain them in the dying state, but you gain them while on the hook. It's so bad. It's not bad. It's so dumb. It's just a dumb fucking perk. It's really, you know what? I'd put it above Bond, honestly. It's so fucking, Jesus Christ. Moving on to Diversion, Pebble, another meme perk. Not as, I don't know. All right, so after you're within the killer's terror radius for 30 goddamn seconds without being chased, you can throw a pebble up to a distance of 20 meters, triggers a loud noise notification, and creates fake scratch marks. I have made this perk work. I managed to get me and another player out of the exit gates with it by making the killer think that we were inside of a nearby loop that we weren't. And it gave us enough time to open the exit gate and leave, but it's just not good. Its situations just aren't good. I'm going to put it, I think it's average. It's not bad, but it's average. I'm going to put it bottom of C. Next up is Dramaturgy. Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage. Whenever you're healthy, you press the button, you gain 25% haste for 2 seconds, and then you can, one of these, become exposed, extend the haste for another 2 seconds, scream, or receive a random item, and then you're exhausted. I'm not going to say it's bad, but it's just so fucking goofy. I'm putting it bottom of B. Empathetic connection. Whenever another survivor, this one I actually don't know. Whenever another survivor is injured, they can see your aura within 32, 64, and 96 meters. And you heal other survivors 10% faster. Not bad. I don't think you'll ever use this, though. I honestly, I think there's just better healing perks out there. Way better ones. Autodidact, Botany Knowledge, Will Make It, Desperate Measures. There's just so many other better healing perks out there. You're just not going to use this. You're just not going to use it, I don't think. Although the next time I run Empathy, I might put this in place of it. Actually, yeah. No. Because the injured survivor sees your aura, not the other way around. No, I would not put it in place of Empathy. Empathy is a middle C tier, I believe. Whenever a survivor is injured within 128 meters, which is the entirety of most maps, then you see their aura. And this also says aura in the dying state. You can already see the aura of survivors within the dying state. Does this counter knockout? I'd have to test that later. In any case, yeah, so that's what Empathy does. Lets you see injured people. It's not bad. You know what? I think it goes in B. I think it actually does. Being able to see who's injured is really useful. That's actually really useful information. I'll put this up here. Yeah, no. Being able to see every single injured survivor is really useful. Really fucking useful. Imagine if it says at the bottom, Empathy does not reveal the aura of the survivor being carried by the killer. Imagine if it did. I don't know if it would put it in A, but hey. Next up is Fast Track. This is honestly, in my opinion, an underrated perk. This can take a game that is going poorly and completely flip it on its side. So every time a survivor gets hooked, you get 3 tokens up to a maximum of 27. And whenever you hit a great skill check on a generator, it grants an additional 1% progress per token. I have taken generators from not being done to being fully finished in seconds when I combine this with things like stakeout and hyperfocus. Holy shit, dude. Like I said, this perk takes a bad game and can flip it on its head very, very well. So I'm actually putting this in A tier, and you can all fight with me in the comments. Next up is Fixated. Used to be called Self-Aware. It's a Nancy perk. It increases your walking speed by 20%, and then you can see your own scratch marks. I don't know why that second part is there. I don't know what the point of that is. But this is only ever used when combined with Sprint Burst. And I did say I would take synergies into account this time, but the fact that it only synergizes with one perk, and it is only used with one perk, it's bottom of the fucking barrel. I'm so tempted to put it in F tier. So tempted to put it in F tier, but it synergizes with one of the best perks in the game. So next up is Flashbang. I used to think Flashbang was pretty bad, but it synergizes well with Residual Manifest. I think, yeah, it also synergizes with Champion of Light. It's actually it's a really good perk. And of course it synergizes with the all-important background player. This and background player give you the most consistent save potential in the game. So I'm going to put this at the top of B tier. Not only does it synergize really well, it's easier to use than flashlights, easier to get off. Yeah, no, it's good. Next up is Flip Flop, a very solid anti-slugging build, slugging perk. While you're on the ground, the amount that you recover is converted into wiggle progress up to a maximum of 50%. This synergizes, of course, with things like Power Struggle and Tenacity and Unbreakable. It's just one of those you're not going to hook me perks. The only problem with it is if the killer isn't slugging, you're not getting use out of it. So, yeah. I used to think Fogwise was one of the best perks in the game. I'm not lying to you. When I was doing my Adept on Vittorio, I used to think Fogwise was one of the best perks in the game. I don't think it's bad, but it suffers from that thing that I was talking about where aura reading on the killer is only really useful in chases, or significantly useful in chases. As it stands now, Fogwise is one of those perks that I feel has to be, it's one of those perks that really only gets used in the early game, because whenever you hit a great skill check, you see this killer's aura for 4, 5, or 6 seconds. So in the early game, it helps you know where the killer is about, because you hop on a gen, you get the great skill check, you hit it, but it also relies on you hitting great skill checks. And I don't know how many people are that good at hitting great skill checks. So I'm gonna put it probably bottom of B, top of C. I'll put it top of C. It's not great, but it's not fucking awful either. Next up is For the People. I think For the People is one of those perks that, of course, it's part of the power synergy with Buckle Up. But it's also one of those perks that I think people just kind of don't realize the strength of. It's a trade, right? I save one of my people and I take on the thing. You become the obsession and you're broken for 60 seconds, but you can instantly heal people for 1 health state. So you can instantly bring them from dying to injured, deep wounded to injured, or injured to healthy. So, yeah, I think it is. I think it is definitely. It's definitely one of the best perks in the game. But I think what stops people from using it is the broken status effect. But honestly, I don't think it's bad. I think it belongs in B tier. It's just really good. Next up is Friendly Competition with Thalita. Whenever you complete a generator with at least one other survivor, it increases your repair speed and that of the other survivor for 5% for the next 75 seconds. You could theoretically throw this into a cooperative build with Prove Thyself and Better Together, but I don't know, because you have to complete a generator with them, I don't know how much use it really gets. I'm willing to put it in C tier. If only because it's not awful, but I just don't think it gets as much use as it can, even with its synergies. Next up is Head On. Head On is a very, very, very beloved perk in bully squads. Hop yourself into a locker, and then after 3 seconds, you can rush out of the locker, and any killer that is right in front of the locker will get stunned for 3 seconds. And then you're exhausted for up to 40. You also can't... Did you know you can't use this when you have occurred crows? I didn't know that. So you can't just hop in a locker, sit in it all day, use the crows to lure them over, and then use it. Huh. Interesting. The more you learn. This is obvious. This is honestly, I think it's a B tier exhaustion perk, but it's bottom of B. A lot of people say it's not that good, but this can be used for saves. This compares really well with flashbang. So if you know the killer's coming to a generator that you're working on, you can hop in a locker, of course, get your flashbang, burst out when the killer comes to check on it, drop the flashbang at their feet and run, and that will stun them and then blind them so they're disoriented, and it can actually give you a pretty good chance to get away. So it does have some fairly decent synergies. Next up is Hope. It's a general perk. By the end of when the exit gates are powered, you get a permanent 7% haste. I would be really, really dumb if I did not put this in A tier. I think this perk was slept on for far too long. It's one of those perks that, okay, so made for this was a problem because survivors got a permanent 3% haste for the entire match. This is a permanent 7% haste for the entire endgame. It's really good. It's really fucking good. If you're finding yourself surviving till the end game a lot, yeah. Next up is Hyper Focus. This is the best gen repair perk in the game. After you hit a great skill check while repairing or healing, you gain a token up to a maximum of 6. I thought it was 5 actually. And then for each of them, you get a 4% higher chance to trigger a skill check. The speed of the skill check is increased by 4%, but every time you hit a skill check, a great skill check, not a good one. Every time you hit a great skill check, you get an extra 30% of the great skill checks progress per token. So this is really good. It synergizes incredibly well with things like stakeout and deadline and all of that other stuff. It's just it's a really, really good perk. It's the best gen repair perk in the game, as long as you are consistent with your skill checks. The only thing is if you hit a good skill check, fail a skill check, or if you leave the generator, then you lose all your tokens. But it's just so good. It's just a good perk. Inner focus. You can see scratch marks of other survivors. Wait, what is this? It's a Hattie perk. See scratch marks of other survivors. Whenever the survivor loses a health state within 32 meters of you, you see the killer's aura. What? I'm so tempted to put this in F. God, I'm so tempted to put this in F. I'm going to put it at the bottom of D. That's so bad. I can think of a billion other perks you'd run in its place. Honestly, like, that's bad. That's really bad. Next up is Inner Strength. After you cleanse a totem, cleanse, not bless, you get this, it activates. And then you can climb in a locker, and after 8 seconds in the locker, you will heal 1 health state, going from injured to healthy, or deep wound to injured. So, but it can't activate if you're broken. So yeah, I think inner healing's actually a really good perk. We'll go ahead and put it in. We'll put it above. Yeah, we'll put it here. We'll put it below clairvoyance. It's a perk that relies on totems, but you can find totems all over the map, so I'm down for it. We're to one of the new perks now. Weaving spiders. Okay. All right. Listen to me, man. Listen to me. This is the single hardest decision I'm going to make this whole video. Let me tell you why. Weaving spiders can get value in a coordinated team. It cannot in solo queue. But if solo queue is one of those games where everyone's magically on the same page without communicating, it gets value. If you understand this perk, it can get insane value. Because I do not think you all understand how ungodly strong it is to BNP every gen. It is not so strong that I think it belongs in A, but I do not think it belongs in C either. I think that this is a perk that at its core is really good. It needs some minor adjustments, and unfortunately it's very reliant on your teammates and the killer not going randomly check basement. But I do think it's good. Put it B, bottom of B. Next up is Iron Will. It reduces your grunts of pain by up to 75%, and it doesn't work while exhausted. For some reason. It's a good stealth perk. I think I'll put it, top of C. Decent stealth perk. I don't really use it. I've never used it, so, yeah. Next up is Kindred, one of the best solo queue perks in the game. I think I'm going to go ahead and put Kindred somewhere up here. Probably right here above Flip-Flop. Whenever a survivor is sitting on a hook, okay, so this is really weird how this works. So let me reread this, make sure I don't give you false information. So, whenever you are hooked, all survivors can see each other, and the killer's aura is revealed within 8, 12, or 16 meters of the hook. But whenever another survivor is hooked, the auras of all other survivors are revealed to you, and then you can see the aura of the killer within 8, 12, or 16 meters. I think this perk should do away with the, if you are hooked, this happens, but if someone else is hooked, this happens, and just be a flat, while a survivor is on the hook, this happens. And then it would probably go up to A tier, but it is one of the quintessential solo queue perks. So I cannot in good conscience put it lower than where it is. If you've been missing streams and want to see live gameplay, then go ahead and check out my YouTube channel, the Kaiser VODs, where I upload every game that I play in multi-hour compilations. We also have a collection of short compilations of clips from stream. We'll see you over there. Link is in the description. Next up is Leader with Dwight. Pretty underrated perk. So whenever you are within 8 meters of a survivor, they're healing, sabotaging, unhooking, cleansing, opening, and unlocking. What is opening? What's the difference between opening and unlocking? Am I stupid? Whatever. That's increased by up to 25%. This basically means that whenever another survivor is healing you, they heal you 25% faster. Like I said, kind of underrated. But I think that it actually is going to go below Weaving Spiders in the B tier. But I do think it's underrated. Next up is Left Behind. Whenever you're the last survivor in the trial, the aura of the hatch is revealed to you within 32 meters. I think 32 meters is extremely low. You also have to be the last survivor in the trial. You also have to hope that the killer hasn't found the hatch yet. I'll be honest with you. I think Left Behind's pretty bad. Even for those archives where you have to escape through the hatch, bro, just bring a hatch offering. Just bring a hatch offering. Or hell, bring clairvoyance. I don't like this. I'm not going to put it bottom of D. I'll put it top of D. I think it's pretty bad. Light-footed. While you're healthy, you don't make noises from footsteps, from running. And then it has a cooldown of 20 seconds after you perform a rushed action. So. Is it good? I don't think so. I don't think it's that good. I don't think it's that bad either. Put it top of C. Top of C sounds good. All right, lightweight. So we're just going to put it in the F tier. It's fuck lightweight, dude. You know what? Fuck lightweight. I'll put it here. We'll keep this here. But lightweight and self-awareness are just so fucking bad. They're just terrible. Just don't run them, bro. Reduces the duration of your scratch marks by up to 5 seconds. That doesn't, who cares? Reduces the spawn of them by 60%. Also, who cares? I used to think that this was a slept on perk, but I have run into people who use it, and even as somebody who cannot hear out of their right ear, I can tell you that it doesn't do anything. I still find people who run it even though I can't hear them. The spread of, if this reduced scratch marks by like 75 or 80%, I could probably see it. But no, it's just not good. Next up, Life. One of the best exhaustion perks in the game, right underneath, right above Dead Hard, I think. Live, Life, Love. You vaulted a window, you immediately extend a chase by up to 10 seconds because you vault a window and you're like 150% haste and you start fucking doom-ba-doom-ba-doom-ba-doom running, fucking taking off. It's just a really good exhaustion perk. Is it the best one? No, but it is a really good one. Next up, Low Profile from Otta. Whenever you are the only oh my god, another one of these. Only survivor in the trial who is not in the dying state, hooked or already dead. So you don't have to be the only one in the trial. You just have to be the only one up, basically. The only one that could do anything. You do not leave pools of blood or scratch marks or grunts of pain for 90 seconds. Actually, that's not that bad. This is one of those perks where you try to bring it back. You know what I mean? This is one of those perks where you try to bring it back from a bad snowball. So yeah, I think we can put this in say upper C below Iron Will. Nah, below Fogwise, I think. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Lucky Break. Whenever you are in the injured states, so this is whenever you get hit, you do not leave pools of blood or scratch marks for up to 60 seconds. And if you start healing within that time, every time you've spent healing, it replenishes the timer. You can't go above 60 seconds. But if you start healing so let's say you get hit and you take off running and you come across one of your other survivors, and it's been like 20 seconds and you start healing. After you finish the heal, you still have another 40 seconds of the perk's activation. But it does deactivate whenever you become healthy or enter the dying state. But theoretically, you could like run off to a generator and okay, yeah, no, this isn't bad. This isn't bad at all. I'm gonna put it in B tier. Probably put it below or above Shadow Step. Yeah, not bad at all. Lucky Star, whenever you enter a locker, all of your pools of blood and grunts of pain are gone for 10 seconds. And whenever you exit the locker, you see the auras of all your other survivors and the closest generator. And then it has a cooldown of up to 30 seconds. This is actually a really good perk. You combine this with like Quick and Quiet, and you can escape chases really well. Like really well. So I'm going to put this in the B as well. I think I'm actually going to put it in the like upper middle B tier. Probably like here. Yeah. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, this is good. Made for this. I'm so glad this fucking perk got gutted, dude. So whenever you heal another survivor, you gain endurance for 10 seconds. Nobody gives a shit about that. Whenever you fucking get deep wounded, while you are deep wounded, you gain a 1, 2, or 3% haste. So this is a really good anti-tunnel perk. And also, fuck Deathslinger and Legion. But it's a really good anti-tunnel perk. You get hit, you get unhooked and then you run and then they like hit you through your endurance and then you're faster. And as we stated during the MFT era, a permanent 3% haste is very strong. Now, this isn't permanent. You do have to cleanse the deep wound at some point, but it does do its job as an anti-tunnel perk. And even though it's not S tier anymore, I still think it's upper B just for its anti-tunnel potential. So we're going to leave it at that. Medal of Man. Now, I know what people's problem with Medal of Man is, and that is that the protection hits are inconsistent. So while you have to take 3 protection hits before it'll activate. And then while injured, it will shield you from going down anytime you take damage. So you can dead hard, take the endurance from dead hard, and then you can then again avoid going into the dying state again, even after you've dead harded, because this is not technically endurance. Now, whenever you're healed or put into the dying state, it deactivates. But whenever you're healed to full health, you can see the killer's aura whenever you are further than 12, 14, or 16 meters from them. So it doesn't really give you a lot because, again, as I keep saying, and this is going to become important when I get to a very specific perk that people have been on my ass is supposedly the best perk in the fucking world. Aura reading is only significantly useful in chase. Because it only works when they are further than 16 meters from you, that aura reading is not great. What keeps this perk from actually being good is the inconsistency of protection hits. So I'm going to put this at the bottom of B tier. If the protection hits were more consistent, it would honestly be top of B, maybe even A. No Mither from David. Don't use this fucking perk. I don't have to explain this. Being broken for the entire fucking game is not fucking worth... Listen to me. It's not fucking worth the unlimited unbreakable. It's not fucking worth... We're moving on. No One Left Behind increases your action speeds and healing. Wait, this is the... wait. This is the one... Okay, so this activates when the exit gates are powered. You unhook 50% faster. Survivors you unhook gain an additional 7% stealth... haste, sorry. The auras of other survivors are revealed to you. And then you get more blood points in the Altruism category. The fact that this only works in the endgame is what makes it kind of bad. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this in the D tier. Hopefully this doesn't piss people off. But if you want all those bonuses, just run Babysitter with Desperate Measures, maybe. That's the way I look at it. You run Babysitter with Desperate Measures, you get those effects for the whole game. You can even run Bond in there. You can basically get all of these effects for the whole game with a pretty good altruistic build. So, don't be mad at me, I guess. I don't give a fuck. Be mad at me. Fuck you guys. Okay, Object of Obsession. Whenever the killer would see your aura, You also see the killer's aura, and whenever your aura is revealed to the killer, your speeds in repairing, healing, and cleansing increase by 6%. And every 30 seconds, for 3 seconds, your aura is automatically revealed to the killer. The only reason you use this perk is to get the achievement where you have to be the obsession and escape without getting hit. And this perk makes it significantly harder. You gain nothing from this perk. This perk gives you no benefits. Off the record, one of the best anti-tunnel perks in the game, right below Decisive Strike. Whenever you are unhooked, it prevents your aura from being revealed to the killer. It suppresses grunts of pain, and you get a status effect, and all of that for 80 seconds. Now, the only problem with it is that it deactivates when the exit gates are powered, or whenever you do anything. Cleanse a totem, try to heal somebody, try to repair a generator, fucking anything. If you try any fucking thing, it deactivates. But it is still one of the best anti-tunnel perks in the game. You're not waiting out and off the record. Open-handed. Hey, we're back to Ace. Ace, it's been an hour since we last talked about one of your perks, you useless fucker. I think. What's Ace's third perk? Did I already talk about it? No, okay. It's up the ante. Okay. Increase the radius of all aura reading abilities emanating from yourself or other survivors so this affects every survivor in the trial. And it increases the aura reading range up to 16 meters. This is low-key good in an aura reading build, but I don't think I've seen a lot of aura reading builds that need it. So I'm going to put this in like middle of the C tier because I've just never seen an aura reading build that needs it, but it's there. Overcome. Whenever you are injured, you retain your movement speed for 2 additional seconds, and then you're exhausted for up to 40 seconds. That seems cool and all. But the reason this perk is pretty forgettable is because it is without a doubt the worst exhaustion perk in the game. I would honestly just rather run Lucky Break, even though it doesn't give you additional speed. It gives you more stealth. So I'm going to put Overcome in the D tier. Yes. Overzealous, another haughty perk. Haughty, after cleansing or blessing a totem, it activates. It increases your repair speed by 8, 9, or 10% if it's a dull totem, and 16, 18, or 20% if it's a hex totem. Low-key, not that bad. However, it deactivates when you lose a health state, which, unfortunately, you're only going to get 5 chances if you're the only one cleansing totems. And let's be real with you, you're not going to be cleansing totems all match. You're probably not going to find all 5 totems. So you could run this in a totem build. I sometimes run this whenever I have a quest to cleanse totems, because after I'm done cleansing all the totems, it helps me. But I think this effect would be better if it was stackable, and if it deactivated after you finished, say, after you finish repairing a gen. I think the health state is too punishing. But we'll put it bottom of C. Parental guidance. I've been seeing this a lot lately. After stunning the killer, in any fucking way, flashbang save, head on, pallets, wiggling out, decisive strike, your scratch marks, pools of blood, and grunts of pain are gone for 7 seconds. Low-key synergizes really well with a lot of stun perks. However, I think that it is still somewhere in middle C, but I could see why you would use it. Next up is pharmacy. Whenever you're injured, it activates, and whenever you unlock chests 80% faster, you can't be heard from as far away, and you always get a med kit. This is great if you find yourself constantly without someone to heal you, but even in solo queue, you get healed more often than not by other people. If anything, survivors are a little bit too eager to try to heal you in solo queue. So I'm going to put it at the bottom of B. Plot twist is one of the best perks in the game. Plot twist, whenever you're injured, you crouch, you go to the dying state, you recover, and when you fully recover, you stand back up, you fully heal, and you gain 50% haste for 4 seconds. It can be used once per game and then once in the end game. I used to run this perk all the time. The other good thing is that when you enter the dying state with plot twist, your grunts of pain and your pools of blood are gone. So you can literally round a corner, plot twist, and the killer can sometimes just walk straight past you without even thinking about it, bro. They just like, doop-a-doo, he's over here. Fuck, where'd he go? And they just fucking walk past you. It's one of the best perks in the game. Unironically, Nicolas fucking Cage brought us a meta perk. Plunderer's Instinct. The auras of closed chests and dropped items are revealed to you within 32 meters. And you get a better chance of getting higher items from a chest. This is not good. It's not a good. It's only useful whenever you need to unlock chests for fucking challenges. Fuck, you know what? I don't even care that it's useful whenever you need to unlock chests for challenges. It's going down. It's going in the F tier. Fuck it. Fuck it. I'm judging this shit off power levels. Okay, poised. God, my fucking voice is going. We've been out this for an hour and 15 minutes. This is going to be another 2-hour video, isn't it? Okay, poised. After a generator is completed, you will not leave any scratch marks for up to 10 seconds. Woo. Woo. I'm sorry. It's only going to help you in chase. I mean, yeah, you can technically use it to pop a generator and then run away from that generator, but like, I just don't see it getting a lot of use ever. Potential Energy. This is a controversial perk. So, while you're repairing a generator, after you've been repairing it for 8 seconds, God, I've been talking too much, my voice hurts. After you've been repairing it for 8 seconds, you continue to repair, you can activate it. And you will start to store a token for every 1.5% of generator progression, up to a maximum of 20 tokens. And then you can take those 20 tokens and dump them into a generator to repair up to 20% of the gem. The problem with this perk is if you lose a health state in any way, you lose every token you gained. That is dumb. It should be that you lose half of your current tokens to a minimum of 1 every time you lose a health state. That's what it should be. That's what I want it to be. Now, this perk is not completely useless. So let's say you have Prove Thyself. You got another player on the gen with you. They're repairing it faster. The Prove Thyself makes up for the amount that you're not repairing the generator, so you can gain those tokens. So you Prove Thyself, you get the tokens, you stockpile them, you run to another generator, put the tokens in, boom, instant 20%. This is still going to go in the upper C tier just because of the fact that you can lose all the tokens just by losing a health state. You go through all that work, you get all those tokens, and you're en route from one generator to the next. You randomly get hit from a Huntress Hatchet. Fuck off. You know what I mean? Next up is Power Struggle. This is a perk that is, I'm not going to say only useful in anti-hook builds, but it's a perk that doesn't work well on its own. So it relies too heavily on its synergies for me to take its synergies into... It relies too heavily on synergies for me to take its synergies into consideration. So we're going to put it bottom of the B tier because it is a good perk. But it's not a perk that I think you're going to use very often without its synergies. But I guess I should tell you the effect. While you're being carried by the killer, once you reach 15% progress, the second the killer walks under a pallet, that pallet drops and you're freed. I used this to farm the achievement to drop a pallet and free a carried survivor, and that was it. Premonish, this fucking perk. First off, it's worthless. Second off, this perk caused me so much pain because the challenge related to it in the archives was bugged. And I spent 9 hours trying to finish it, not knowing it was bugged. And then I came back and they fixed the bug and I got that fucking thing first try. First try! And that pain will never leave me. Fuck this perk. It's bad. Oh, you get an auditory warning whenever you see the killer within a 45-degree cone and then within 36 meters. Run fucking alert. Run fogwise. Run literally any fucking thing else. Fuck this goddamn perk. Prove thyself. S tier. S tier. S tier. I put it below hyperfocus because it requires you to have someone with you in order to work. But basically, whenever you and some other knucklehead are on a gin, up to 4 meters actually, so you can actually stand next to the gin, but your repair speed and everybody else's repair speed is increased by 10% up to a maximum of 30. So you and 2 other knuckleheads sitting on the gin will get the max amount of use out of this. But every survivor can only be affected by 1 prove thyself at a time. But it's still really good. If it didn't rely on cooperative actions, which obviously it does. I mean, how else would you work it? It would be above hyperfocus, but it's the second best gin repair perk in the game. So yeah. Quick and quiet. It's a really good chase perk. Really, really good chase perk. I'm going to put it in A tier below. Yeah, I'll put it in A tier up here. Whenever you'd make a rushed action that would cause a loud noise notification, so rushing windows, or vaulting windows, vaulting pallets, or entering or exiting a locker, you don't make any noise, and you get, it's only on a cooldown of 20 seconds, which is really short. So this is a really good perk to kind of like help you with the mind game. Maybe you rush a vault, you know, when the killer's not in sight, and then the killer doesn't know that you rushed the vault, so they might try to do some sort of fancy stuff, not realizing what you did. It's just really good, and it synergizes incredibly well with so many perks, dude. Head on, it synergizes with head on and dance with me and lithe and all this other stuff. It's just so good. Quick Gambit. I heard they buffed this. Did they buff this? I heard they buffed this. The auras of generators are revealed to you within 36 meters while you're being chased by the killer. And it increases the repair speed of generators it increases the repair speed of survivors working on highlighted generators. So while you're actively being chased, generators within 36 meters of you get repaired by up to 8% faster. Not terrible, not really good. I think 36 meters is a little low. 48 meters would probably be much better. Yeah. I'll put it in C. I'll put it like lower C, like there. Yeah, that's where we'll put it for sure. Okay. Reactive healing. This is actually a good perk. It's actually a good perk. So whenever another survivor loses a health state within 32 meters of you, and you're injured, you gain up to 50% of your missing health bars. So this is actually really good. I think it was either Ott's Hens, might have been A Run. I don't remember. One of those survivor, it had to be A Run. Basically what they did was them and a friend of theirs had the reactive healing with like power struggle, and then they both kept dying under a pallet and healing for free. Basically, because like they would trade out constantly and they healed for free. It was so stupid. But realistically speaking, this also, I think does this work? No, it doesn't work while you're on the hook, but it is pretty good. It is pretty good. If you're being healed by someone and the heal gets interrupted and the killer swings on them, it can help you a lot. So yeah, I think this perk isn't that bad. We'll put it above Breakout. Reassurance. Another S tier perk. This is a very good altruism perk. Whenever you're within 6 meters of a hook survivor, you press the button, and for the next 30 seconds, that survivor's sacrifice progress pauses completely. No skill checks in the struggle phase. Nothing. This is a really good perk for Endgame if you need a little bit of extra time to maybe reset or 99 a gate. It's one of the best perks in the game. Red herring is trash. Don't use red herring. Whenever you're repairing a generator for at least 3 seconds, you can pop in a locker, and then the generator makes a loud noise notification. And then it goes on cooldown for 40 seconds. I like to use this with Blast Mine sometimes to be a little cheeky, but in terms of power level, it's just bad. Repressed Alliance from Cheryl. So you get to block the generator for 45 seconds. You cannot... sorry. You block the generator for 30 seconds, and it's revealed to all survivors in white. And but you can't use it while another survivor is on the gen. So this is basically to stop gen kicking builds. I don't think gen kicking builds are prominent enough to matter. But I could definitely see running it. So we'll put it here. Residual manifest. Search a chest, get a guaranteed flashlight. When you blind the killer, they suffer from the blindness status effect for 30 seconds. If, as far as I am aware, this is the only way to inflict the blindness status effect on killers, which is infinitely more useful than inflicting blindness on survivors. I'm actually going to put this in B, in like middle B, because this is a lot stronger than I think people realize. Next up is resilience. You increase your action speed while you're injured by up to 9%. It's just a good perk all around. It doesn't really have any flaws. I mean, yeah, you're injured, but it's just a really good perk all around. This includes your vaulting speed, by the way. This includes your vaulting. So you repair, heal, sabotage, unhook, vault, cleanse, bless, everything. Everything you could possibly fucking do, you do it 9% faster. It's really good. Resurgence. From Jill, after you're unhooked or you unhooked yourself, you instantly gain 50% of your healing progress. I don't think this is bad. I think I could put it, honestly, I could put it below Lucky and above Shadow Step. Because, like, you get the unhook and then you're 50% healed. So if your unhooker's got will make it, they heal you in 4 seconds. 4 seconds. If they don't have will make it, they heal you in 8, which is already good. That's why you run will make it. Holy shit, bro. My voice hurts so bad. Don't ever do this, chat. Chat? This is a YouTube video. Chat's not here. Don't ever do this, guys. My voice hurts so bad. Okay. Rookie Spirit. While repairing generators, succeed 5, 4, or 3 good or great skill checks. So just succeed skill checks, you fucking goober. And then once it's active, you see the auras of any regressing generators for the rest of the trial. I low-key think this is a slept-on info perk. I'm going to put it in B. I'll put it pretty high in B, too. Because, like, when are there not going to be regressing generators? When do killers not regress generators in some form or fashion? Very rarely. Very, very rarely. I'll put it up here. I think it's actually pretty... I think it's low-key slept on. Not going to lie to you. Next up is Saboteur from Jake. This is an Altruism perk. Whenever a survivor is being carried, you see the auras of all hooks within 56 meters of that survivor. The confusing thing is, the auras of hooks, of regular hooks are white, but the auras of scourge hooks are yellow. But you can perform the sabotage action. Sabotaging without a toolbox takes 2.3 seconds, and then it goes on a cooldown of 60 seconds. Now, you're always going to see the aura, but you can't use the sabotage action for 60 seconds. This goes good in sabotage builds. Synergizes very well with them. I just think sabotaging is one of the most unreliable ways to try to go for saves, if only because, first off, you would need something like background player or breakout, preferably both, to use this effectively. Second off, the killer can interrupt your sabotaging. And third off, hook distributions can almost, can fuck you really bad. So I'm going to put this top of C. It's not going into B just because sabotaging is just very unreliable. Next up is Scavenger, succeeding a great Succeeding a great repairing skill check grants 1 token up to 5. Reaching the maximum number of tokens automatically consumes them and fully recharges the toolbox that you're holding. This can only, by the way, you can only gain tokens while the toolbox you're holding is empty. Now, the thing that fucking sucks is when you recharge a toolbox for 30 seconds, 30 goddamn seconds, your repair speed is reduced by 50%. I know why they did this. It is because in the PTB, this was one of the strongest perks in the game because you could basically bring a B&P Swivel Arm Commodious, use all of it, instantly repair it in between once it's depleted, and have that swing arm stuff back. My opinion, what it should do is if you are trying to use the toolbox to repair, your repair speed is reduced by 50% for 30 seconds. That way you use the toolbox on a gen, and then you don't use the replenish toolbox until you get to a second gen. So that's how I think it should be done. But what do I know? As it stands, I think replenishing a toolbox is good enough that it avoids the D tier and the lower C. But I'm going to honestly put it middle of C. We'll put it up here. Scene. Whenever you see the killer, you scream. And then you see their aura for 3, 4, or 5 seconds. Wait. You see their aura? Okay, maybe I'm stupid. I'm not going to lie to you. I've been doing this for an hour and a half. My brain is fried. Yeah, seeing their aura is good. Because you see them within the wall and chase. So, yeah. And then you have a 50% chance to scream and extend the aura reading. So, yeah. Oh, we'll put it bottom of B. Yeah. Okay, second wind. The next time you unhook or unhook yourself, you suffer from broken, and then you automatically gain 1 health state after 20 seconds. But in order to activate this perk, you have to heal another survivor for the equivalent of 1 health state. Now, what that means is if you are co-op healing a survivor, you don't activate this perk. If the activation requirement was when you finish healing another survivor, this perk would be much, much better. I think I'm going to put it the bottom of B, honestly. Yeah. I think it avoids C tier. Next up is self-care. Yeah, I get it, right? You run botany knowledge, you run autodidact, it fucking helps increase the speed of it's fucking self-care, dude. Do I need to explain myself? Do I need to explain myself? You heal yourself at 35% normal speed. That's almost a full minute. It takes 24 seconds to heal yourself. 35% of 24 seconds. You understand how long that is? You understand? Do you understand? Okay. Self-preservation. Whenever another survivor is hit with a basic attack or special attack within 16 meters of you, self-preservation activates and your scratch marks, grunts of pain, and bleeding are suppressed for 10 seconds. God damn, Eugen's perks are fucking selfish as hell, bro. Holy shit. I never realized how selfish her fucking perks were. God damn. Okay. This counters hit and run playstyles, but how often are you coming across hit and run playstyles? We'll go here. Here. Yeah, we'll go here. Slippery meat, F tier. It only works when everybody's bringing it. And it only works when every single person on the squad is dedicated to a self-unhook build. So you basically, everybody's got to bring up the ante. Everybody's got to bring slippery meat. Everybody's got to bring Vigo's salty lips. Vigo's salty lips. Everybody's got to bring it. And then this will be good. Don't use this fucking perk. I don't know how else to explain this. Okay, small game. This is the totem hunting perk. Whenever you are looking at a totem in a 45-degree cone within 12 meters, you get a little sound. There it goes on cooldown for 10 seconds. And then when you cleanse a totem, by any player, for each hex and dull totem cleansed by any player, so doesn't just have to be you, the cone's angle is reduced by 5% down to a maximum of 20%. So it's good for totem hunting. I wouldn't really use it for much else. I'm going to put it in the D tier right there. Smash hit. Whenever you stun the killer with a pallet, specifically, you sprint at 150% of your normal running speed for 4 seconds. This is an exhaustion perk. I think it's an exhaustion perk that goes in C tier because pallet stuns can happen more often than you think. I used to think this wasn't very good because pallet stuns just don't happen very often. But it just turns out I was bad. So I'll put this above parental guidance. So yeah. Sole survivor. When you're the last survivor alive, you gain a token up to 3 tokens, and then you get 24 meters per token of a radius up to 72 meters, in which you are immune to the killer's aura reading abilities, so the killer can't find you. And then your repair speed is increased by 75%, and your gate opening speed is increased by 50%. This is a really good perk for if you find yourself being alone often at the end game. So we're going to go ahead and leave it in B tier. Pretty solid. Solidarity is a Jane perk. When injured and healing another survivor without using a med kit, you benefit from the following effect. Passively heal. Oh, so you can heal a survivor and heal yourself at the same time? Wait, that's not bad, actually. Why isn't this in more healing builds? This energizes really well in healing builds. I need to keep this in mind next time I'm building a healing build. I'm going to put this in bottom of B. I think it's actually pretty good. Soul Guard. Oh, my fucking God, this perk. Okay, so there's a lot here. So after being healed or having recovered from the dying state, Soul Guard grants you endurance status for 8 seconds. So once you're picked up from the ground in any way, you get 8 seconds of endurance. Good, but any damage you take that would put you into the wait. No, I misunderstood this perk. Okay, so while a hex totem is in play, you basically get unbreakable, permanent unbreakable. But whenever you are healed from or recovered from the dying state, you get 8 seconds. I think this is actually good. Wait, this is actually unironically good. Hex perks don't get used that often, which gives me pause for thought. But getting a status effect when being picked up from the ground is good. It's an anti-slugging perk. I'm going to put this... Yeah, bottom of B. Bottom of B, for sure. Spine Chill used to be incredibly useful before the visual tear radius. So whenever the killer is within 36 meters of you and is looking at you with a clear line of sight. You guys know how much I hate the line of sight mechanics in this game, but they have to be staring directly at your ass, and then you get 6% additional speed to everything, and then it lingers for 0.5 seconds. This is bad. This is actually bad. Like, unironically bad. Yeah. Sprint Burst, best exhaustion perk in the game. Put it here, I think. Whenever you press the shift to run, you run at 150% increased movement speed for 3 seconds. And then you're exhausted for 40. You combine this with Vigil and Fixated or Self-Aware or whatever the fuck this stupid perk is called. And it allows you to give like a little bit more. So you 99 your sprint burst and your exhaustion, and then you let it go, and the killer comes in for a swing, and you go wee, and they miss the swing, and then they go exhaustion perks OP behavior please nerf, and then they cry about it on stream. So sprint burst is really good. Just understand how to use it, and like it. It's good. It's one of the best perks in the game, hands down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Sorry, I was curious. This is regarding an older video I did. Anyway, Stakeout. So every 15 seconds you're in the killer's terror radius. I love this for my Jin rushing build. You gain a token, up to 4 tokens, and then whenever you hit a good skill check, you consume a token. You get an additional 1% of progress, and it counts as a great skill check. So you combine this with hyperfocus and fast track, and you start you start getting it good. The only thing I don't like is that this doesn't, unlike distortion, you don't get tokens while you're on the hook, which is kind of sad. But it's a really good perk. B, middle of B, somewhere up here maybe. Yeah, we'll put it here. I think it's really good. Streetwise increases the efficiency of items and the items of survivors within 8 meters of you by 25%. Actually, unironically, not bad. Gives you more toolbox, gives you more med kit, gives you more flashlight juice, and it helps your friends. So I'll put it. Yeah, we'll put it up here. We'll put it above leader. I think it's pretty good. Strength in Shadows is a Sable perk. So, holy fuck. Okay, so this is self-care, but only happens in the basement and happens at 75 or 70% of the healing speed. And then when you finish a heal in the basement, you see the killer's aura for 6, 8, 10 seconds. The reason this perk is good is because it is obviously 70% is better than fucking 35%. What holds this perk back from B tier, in my opinion, is the fact it has to be in the basement. If it didn't have to be in the basement, it would be one of the best perks in the game. But obviously they got to put a limiter on it, so it has to be in the basement. But if you're on maps where the basement is easily accessible, it's just a really, really good perk. Generally good. The teamwork perks. There is a lot of people. Fuck my voice. Hold on. Okay. There is a lot of people who, trying to figure out a way to put this. So they really want behavior to do more with the teamwork perks. Basically, the way the two teamwork perks are is whenever you heal a survivor or another, whenever another survivor finishes healing you, for Renato's perk. So collective stealth, whenever another survivor finishes healing you, the scratch marks of both of you are suppressed as long as you stay within 12 meters of each other, and the other one or the other loses a health state. Sorry. And then it has a cooldown for 140 seconds after it deactivates. For Felita's, whenever you heal a survivor, the two of you get 5% haste status effect for as long as you stay within 12 meters of each other, or one of you loses a health state, and then it's got a cooldown of 140 seconds. Here is the issue with these two perks, and it's why these two perks sit at the bottom of C tier. The reason these two perks are not good is because, one, they are very restrictive. If it was whether you heal someone or someone else heals you, it'd be good. 2, the meter range you have to stay within each other is stupid small. If it was 16 meters, it'd be great. And 3, the cooldown is fucking obnoxious. It should be 60 seconds. Honestly, it should be 40 seconds. Technician, whenever... So, it's harder for the killer to hear you working on a generator. And then whenever you miss a skill check, you do not make a loud noise notification, but you regress it by 3% instead of, what's it regress by, 10%? Yeah, you regress it by 3%. So this is actually not bad. It's just, are you missing skill checks so often you need this? Put it top of C. No, I'll put it under Wicked. Strength in the Shadows. Tenacity, you crawl faster. And you can recover while crawling, and your grunts of pain are reduced by 75% within the dying state. This synergizes with flip-flop, boil over, power struggle, flip-flop, boil over, unbreakable, etc., etc. I think it's not too bad, but it's not too good either. I would definitely put it right under Technician above Saboteur. This is not happening. Increases the success of great skill zones. You got a better chance of hitting great skill checks by up to 30% when you're injured. Not bad. Not great. I don't think it's worth running, but I do think it's pretty decent. So we'll put it middle of C. God, we're in the home stretch, guys. Troubleshooter. While you're being chased, if you drop while you're being chased, the aura of a generator with the most progress is revealed to you. Hey, quick gambit synergy? Quick gambit synergy. I'm kidding. Don't run this with quick gambit. Probably shouldn't even really be running Quick Gambit, to be honest. The more I think about it, why would you willingly lead the killer to gens being worked on? But this can help you run away from the gen being worked on. And then the aura of the killer is revealed to you for 4, 5, or 6 seconds after you drop a pallet. And then the effect lingers for 10 seconds after ending the chase. So it helps you in chase. It's a good perk. I don't know if it's AE, but it helps you. It's really good. It's really good. I promise you guys, this is a really good perk. Like, I'm putting this in upper B tier, man. I promise you guys, this is a really good perk. I promise you guys, it's a really good perk. It helps you in chase. You get to see the killer's aura. It helps you with mind games. Yeah, it's just a really good perk. Unbreakable, you can pick yourself up from the dying state once per game, and you recover 35% faster. This is just a good perk all around. I don't think many people are going to argue. Do I put it in A? Yeah, I put it in A. I put it above Fast Track. I think I put it in, yeah, above Desperate Measures. Do I put it above Desperate Measures? I put it above Desperate Measures. It's one of the best perks in the game. Up the ante! This is another perk that you need all 4 people to run. It allows you to get better chances of unhooking yourself. Don't fucking use it. It's dog shit unless all 4 people are running it. Hoop-a-doop, doop, doop-a-doop. Urban Evasion. It increases your crouch movement speed. The good old Urban Evasion bot. Urban Evasioning everywhere. You move 100% faster while you're crouching. Oh my god, he's off to the race. Don't fucking use this perk. Vigil makes it to where you recover from status effects 30% faster. And it also applies to survivors within 8 meters of you. This is, holy shit, this is an A tier perk, actually. Bottom of A tier, but it's an A tier perk. It's really good. It's really, really fucking good. And now that Mangled and Hemorrhage are on timers, you can recover from those faster too, making Sloppy Butcher even more fucking useless. Hooray! Visionary. Aura of generators are revealed to you within 32 meters each time a generator is completed. It deactivates. Why? Why does it fucking deactivate? It doesn't need to deactivate. It's fine. It could easily be an A tier perk, and I don't think anyone would ever bitch about it. Upper C. Begrudgingly. People will bitch about it. Like, I know somebody's going to be like, oh, do you not know the Dead by Daylight community? Yes, I know. Okay, listen to me. I'm very well aware that if this perk did not have the cooldown effect, that people would complain to the fucking ends of their days, but those people would be completely insignificant and bad at the game. So when I say nobody would complain about it, I mean nobody important. Wake up! You can see the auras of the exit gate switches across the entire map, and you open them 25% faster. This is low-key really good. Do I put it in A tier? I kind of want to put it in A tier. I'll put it above Flashbang. This is a slept on perk. Get it? Wake up, slept on. It's a really, this is an A tier. This is a good perk. It's a really fucking good perk. Okay? It, like, you survive to the end, game, you go to the gates, you go, brrr, and you fucking take off, bro. And unlike Soul Survivor, you don't gotta wait for the rest of your team to die. You can help your team with this. And your aura is revealed to people while you're opening an exit gate so they know where to go. Do not argue with me. This perk is good. We'll make it. We'll make it as A tier. It's the, in my opinion, We'll Make It is the strongest altruistic perk in the game. I'm actually going to put it, oh, dude. Yes, I put it in S. I put it in S. I don't give a fuck. When you unhook a survivor for the next 90 goddamn seconds, that's a minute and a half, you heal at 100% faster rate when you heal other survivors. This is one of the best fucking perks in the game. The best altruistic perk in the game. I'm putting it above Reassurance. Fuck you guys. My tier list. I do what I want. We're going to live forever from David. Increase your healing speed by 100% when healing a dying survivor. So you pick people up off the ground much faster. Performance. Oh, I was wrong about Buckle Up. I was wrong. We're going to live forever does not only happen in the In the Endgame. Ooh, I was wrong. Oh no. Oh my god, so many people are going to comment on that For the People Buckle Up video. Oh no. I'm going to have to add like a fucking pinned comment. I was like, guys, I have discovered since the filming of this video that We're Gonna Live Forever does not only trigger in the Endgame. Oh my god. Oh, I'm going to get so much fucking comments about that. Oh my god, I can see it already. I'm going to have to go do that after this. I'm going to have to go straight to that video and make a comment before it goes live. Oh my god. Oh! Okay. So, when you unhook a survivor, take a protection hit, or stun or blind the killer to rescue a survivor, you gain a token. You can consume a token to grant endurance for 6, 8, or 10 seconds after you heal a survivor from the dying state. So, I still think my idea for reworking Buckle Up would work better, but you guys are right. It would just be another We're Gonna Live Forever. But we're still going to put this bottom of the B tier. Wicked. Are you guys ready to fucking argue in the fucking comment section? Let's do this shit. Okay, so when this fucking perk got announced and its rework got announced, I said it's fucking useless because you can only unhook yourself for one time, for the first time. So you can't unhook yourself in stage 2. You can only do it in the goddamn basement, right? But anytime you are unhooked, you see the killer's aura for 20 seconds. Like I've been saying throughout the entirety of this fucking video, seeing the killer's aura is only significantly useful in chase. Seeing the killer's aura on the other side of the map does not help you. Seeing the killer's aura while you are being healed does not help you. It does not do anything for you. At most, this perk is a pseudo anti-tunnel perk that does not allow you to provide yourself with enough information to do anything with actively. I understand that in coordinated play, Wicked could be extremely useful because you can let your friends know where the killer is at and what they are doing the entire time that you are being healed, and for an additional like up to 12 seconds afterwards, right? I understand that, but listen to me. This perk outside of coordinated play does not give significant enough use. Was it mean to call it useless? Absolutely. I was being facetious though. Is it useless? No. Is it good? Fucking no. Is it going to go in C tier? Yes. Below technician. Fight me about it. Windows, S tier information perk, not best information perk for survivors, but pretty fucking good. You see the auras of all the pallets and windows within 32 meters of you. It just helps with looping. If you're bad at looping, this perk is not going to help you. If you're good at looping, this perk will help you. If you're fantastic at looping, this perk will make you a god. This is a perk that is entirely dependent on the power level or the skill level of the person using it. 100%, that is what it's dependent on, but I cannot deny it's the best info perk that survivors have. And finally, Wiretap. It goes with our friends Blast Mine and Chemical Trap. Whenever you're repairing a generator, you can place a little thingy on it, and whenever the killer comes within 14 meters of the generator, their aura is revealed to all survivors, which is good. But as soon as the killer damages the generator, you no longer have Wiretap. I think that if Wiretap didn't go away from the generator damage, it would be probably one of the best info perks in the game. But for now, it stays at meme status. We're 8 minutes short of 2 hours. And my voice is shot. I'm going to take like a fucking I'm probably just going to film the killer perk tier list tomorrow, honestly. But as always, I do want to know what you guys think down below. So please let me know in the comments section what you guys think about the tier list. What do you disagree with? What do you agree with? Whatever the case may be. Go ahead and do it. I'll read all of them. And as always, a great, big, special thank you to my channel members. We have been, dude, I almost cried today. We gained another 2 channel members. And it just seems like every week or so, we're just gaining more. So thank you guys so much for your additional love and support. Without you, I wouldn't be able to do this kind of thing full time. If you want to find out how to become a channel member today for as little as $2 a month and get great perks like knowing future videos, seeing videos early, merch discount codes, and more, then please click that join button down below. Love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Under 2 hours, baby!